Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and this is another Mcfarlane review, and also a kitbash review. So today we'll be taking a quick look at the Mcfarlane Toys Shota Aizawa action figure from the series My Hero Academia, and I love My Hero. I have a whole playlist for all the My Hero stuff that I do, and with this figure, I always had the intention of doing a kit bash of sorts because Mcfarlane does their toys in 7-inch scale, which makes them way too big for my collection. So what we'll also be doing in this video is taking a black articulated icons ninja and swapping parts here and there to get the perfect 1/12 scale Shota Aizawa. But before the kit bashing happens, we should take a quick look at the Mcfarlane figure itself. And this is the box, pretty standard for Mcfarlane. Comes with a decent amount of accessories, and by that I mean 2 other accessories, but they change the overall look of the character. And we have the figure itself, 2 different head sculpts and 2 different scarves. Okay, and just for comparison, this is the Figma Goblin Slayer. It runs a little bit smaller because it's Figma, and here is the Mcfarlane Toys one. So as you can tell, there's a huge difference here. The Amazing Yamaguchi figures are relatively similar to Figma scale, and Figma Deku, I think, runs maybe around here. So just way too big and also way bigger than All Might. So we're gonna bring this down a peg. But overall, the Mcfarlane Toys figure by itself looks pretty good. I mean, it's a pretty solid representation of Sensei Aizawa. I love the sculpting going on all over the body, and it keeps this figure looking interesting while also being true to the costume design. I mean, he's kind of like a ninja, which is why I chose the ninja body, but the head sculpt here looks wonderful. This is the best head sculpt that Mcfarlane Toys has done, and they've had quite a bit of trouble getting their head sculpts down, but this one by far looks the most like him, and even the second head sculpt is really great. And I think with the second head sculpt, I will take a black micron pen and color in the eyes a little bit to get the whole shade look. But yeah, the hair sculpt and the flowing wind and the stubble and the face, everything looks really good. And changing out the scarves, and that looks really good. I will have to say, like, that looks how Aizawa should look, and I like these little tendrils right here that are kind of flowing down. This looks really impressive for Mcfarlane Toys, and just in general. The articulation is also pretty good. It's just a shame that he's too big. I mean, sure, there's some ugly joints in the elbows and the ankles, but for a $18 action figure, really decent. And if you really love Sensei Aizawa and that's the only character you like, you'd be fine picking this guy up. But that's enough with that. Let's get into the kit bash and see how easy this is going to be. Okay, and before I get into the actual process of putting these together, I just want to go over height. So here we have standing at the same height, and you can see that Sensei Aizawa towers over this figure, and bringing him down a peg, he will be closer in scale with the Goblin Slayer, and he'll feel just more at home here in this 1/12 scale. He should be taller than the students, which he will be, but he shouldn't be so big that he towers over All Might. So let me just try to just go ahead and go for this. So here I've cut off the belt off the Mcfarlane figure. It's a nice, easily cuttable plastic with an X-Acto knife, so that's all I've used so far. I didn't do a perfect job of it. I kind of messed up here, which I can live with, but if you take your time and you're not trying to make a video, I'm sure you can do a better job. And I took the arms off this articulated icons ninja. I'm hoping that this will just slide across the body and land where I want it to go. So that took longer than I had hoped, but I got the belt on, and you can sort of see my flaws in here. I will back in with an X-Acto knife and trim that up. I was thinking that this was going to be the hardest part of this kit bash, and it was, but it was not impossible. It took me no less than a couple minutes. All right, and you are going to need one more thing for this kitbash in order for it to be successful. So you're going to need the two figures, the Articulated Icons Black Ninja, which I'll leave a link for in the description. It's by the Foosh, so you might already know who that is. You're going to need the Mcfarlane Toys Shota Aizawa. You're going to need an X-Acto knife, probably should already have this. And you're going to need sticky tack or something like it in order to keep the head on. But this is me holding it in place. It just isn't, it'll fit on there, right? It'll go on there, but this is me holding it in place so it doesn't fall off. But I guess here you go. Here's a better look at it. And so for a custom little kit bash of a thing, this is pretty cool, pretty fun, and the results are pretty impressive. I will say that I love how this looks. Maybe the head's a little big, but it's anime. The eyes, heads, their hands are usually pretty big. The Articulated Icons Ninja by itself is wonderful. It comes with so many accessories. Putting this on there, putting the scarf on there, definitely looks like Shota Aizawa. And bringing this Goblin Slayer back, you could see how he's not that much bigger. Like, his head is bigger, sure, but I can excuse it for cartoon purposes, and overall how he looks is really pleasing to me. Now, unfortunately, in order to make this figure, you are harvesting parts from the Mcfarlane Toys Shota Aizawa. But here we go, here's another height difference. So you can see how much shorter he is. I almost think it works better for him. His hair looks longer here, his scarf looks more powerful, and the other head does go on as well as this other scarf, but you do need sticky tack in order to keep that head in place. But let me know what you think. The hand color matches close enough for me. It's a little bit darker, but not a huge issue at least. That is this video. I really don't have much more to add. I do like the Mcfarlane Toys Shota Aizawa. It was just a little too big for my collection, whereas Toru Hagakure was invisible. So really the height didn't apply. But I do like how this custom figure looks, and you don't have to go with this body. I've seen people go with the new G.I. Joe Snake Eyes figure. I've seen people go with the Mezco Netflix Punisher body, but to me that's too much money to spend on a custom, so this was right up my alley. And one last thing that I'll say, this figure now has way more articulation than the last. Now there's a double bend at the knee, the elbows aren't so disturbing looking, right? There's more ab articulation, so everything is just a little bit better. So there you go. If I had sticky tack next to me, it's a pretty decent look as to what a more articulated pose could look like. There we go. Sensei Aizawa right there. And honestly, until Amazing Yamaguchi takes a stab at Sensei Aizawa, this is going to be the figure for me. And it's going to represent a character that I appreciate and a character that deserves way more love. So up on the shelf it'll go, and it'll stay there until something else better comes along. But if nothing better comes along, I'm pretty happy with how this looks. I'm pretty happy with how it's going to look with the other characters if I want to photograph them. So overall, I'd say this is very successful. And if you want to try it, again, I'll leave all the stuff in the comments below. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.